Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, and anybody that's new, welcome. So today we are going to make a Jenga block snow machine. I had a friend of mine that sent a video to me. Video was done by I Done Goddess, and I really love the use of the fan. Now she used a fan from I don't know where, it doesn't say where she got her fan from, but she used it and I just really liked the snow machine and I think it was super cute. We're gonna grab some Dollar Tree frames. I really had to try this out. It was just super cute, and I know a couple little ones in my life that would really love to have one of these machines, especially with Christmas and stuff like that. It would just be super cute. Now these frames, measure-wise, is 8 inches by 6¼ inches, and they are the 4x6 by 4x6 frame insert from Dollar Tree. We're going to take these out, and you're going to need 4 of these frames. You're going to need to take the little tabs out with some pliers. Oh, I think I pulled some of the frame out. And we're going to take the glass out once I get these out. You're going to need to do these on all 4 frames. And we are going to use, and I have E6000. I could use Well Bond on the frames, but the E6000, just because it's clear, I prefer better. I know sometimes with Well Bond, depending on what it is, and I have tried a while back trying to glue something, and I just want to make sure that it stays clear in between. You could use hot glue, but I like hot glue sometimes if you're not fast enough, especially if mine is not high temp. I don't want to be pulling out little strings and any part that sticks out, and as well it doesn't even the frame solid, I guess, putting it down in the corners and that. So I am just going to do that to all 4 frames. Now I let them dry. We're going to put all 4 pieces together. The front part, I'm just going to count this my front part. The side is going to be, you're going to see exactly like that. On the outside of the front, I'm going to try to hold them here, and outside of the back frame to make a square. Now when you're going to glue them, I'm going to use some E6000. Along the side. And then I'm just going to put some hot glue right here to hold it together. I'm not going to stick it on there right now. And you're just going to seal it like that. And then you're going to do the back side and then add the opposite side. You don't want both of the glues touching because it won't seal properly. Now that we have it glued, I'm going to show you. That's the front that I want to use. And it's the front will be the one with the bigger side, as opposed to the side just with the single rim frame. You'll see both the side frames with the front. Now I did Windex it before doing anything else, just because putting your fingerprints on it from taking the glass in and out, just so it's nice and clean. Now at the back, and I'm just going to flip it over, because I used the one with the side that had more little nicks in it at the back of the snow globe. And we're going to take some painter's tape. I'm just going to do it roughly like that. Now the back of the frame, I want to make it look like stained glass, but just clear. And I don't want to get it on the actual frame itself. And you can get this at DT, also in the hardware section. I'm trying not to stick my head right underneath, guys. And then you're just gonna get a brush and some gloss Mod Podge. Ooh, I said it right this time. I always call it Mod Podge. And now for that stained glass effect, just take a brush. I already put some in a cup. And you can kind of just do swirls. Now it's probably not the best. I know some, I've seen some designs with, what do you call those? The hot burners pads with the Mod Podge and napkins. And they turned out really pretty. And you're just going to keep going like this all the way down just on the one side. Now that I let the Mod Podge dry, you can see that it gives it a nice swirl. It's really hard to see, but it gives it a nice, just a stained glass look at the back. Now you could do the Mod Podge with food coloring if you want, maybe to put a little bit of color on the back. That would look great too. Now on the inside, as you can see, where you've glued the glass mirror frames on, you can see where the glue is, and just part of the inside of the frame actually has just darker. So we're just going to use some of that, and we're going to paint inside the frame just on the corners. Now we're not going to touch on the base of the frame, or on the back and the front of the frame. We're not going to put the Mod Podge with the snow, but we're going to do both, all four corners. I'm just going to show you here. And you're just going to go through. You can even do it on the side of the frame too, all the way around. And you're just going to keep putting the glue just along the frames, right down in the corner. I'm just going to finish this one side and show you. Just so it hides and it conceals the sides of the mirrors. Now you can do the top of the frame. Just leave the bottom part on the front and the back, because we're gonna use that as, we have to have a suspension floor, I guess, if you want to call it. Now I just got my pizza pan full of Dollar Tree fake snow. And we're just gonna stick some in there like that. And then you're just going to have a nice snow. And I'm going to do that all in the corners around the top, but I'm not going to do the front or the back. Now that the top part, the frames are drying with the faux snow, we are going to move on to the base of the snow machine. Now, of course, I like working with Jenga blocks, so I am going to make mine with Jenga blocks, the video that I was telling you about. She does use a wood box. I just wanted something a little bit sturdier, and of course I like using the blocks. I do pre-glue my blocks part of the builds. When I do build them, I don't add them to the video, only because it'll be super long video, and I try to make my videos not that long, and I don't think you want to see me gluing a bunch of blocks. So I do suggest getting a pen and paper and writing it down just for little notes for yourself. And even drawing a little diagram and putting the numbers beside it can work too. I write all my stuff down. Now I use Well Bond. This is good for wood, tile, glass, foam, stone, ceramics, and more. I find they work really well with the Jenga blocks. I do not suggest using hot glue unless it's for 1 or 2 pieces, because eventually it will come apart and the blocks won't seal properly. You'll have the glue sticking out, and then you'll have to end up picking it out, and you don't want to do that. And you don't want to wreck your build either, and you want to make sure that it's nice and solid. I use the carpenter ruler, or else you can call it the L-shaped ruler. You can find it in the hardware section at Dollar Tree. And I'm going to just briefly go over stacked and flat if you're new to my channel. When I say flat, I just mean the blocks are glued just flat like that, side by side. When I say stacked, and just the thin side up and just like that. So the stacked would look just one right on top of each other. And then with the flat, I should have just showed you a second ago because I had a piece on the side done. It is just like that. Now this build is 217 blocks. That's 3 blocks of the tumbling tower blocks from Dollar Tree plus 1 extra block. Now, if you can't find it in your store, and I know that's a lot of problems for crafters that can't find them. I'm in Canada, so we only can do in-store shopping. But I heard from several of my crafty friends on this channel that you can order them to your local store for free. I'm not sure about the quantity. I've heard you had to order a whole case. And if you follow my channel, you'll need a whole case. But you also, I heard you can order 3. Now, also too, if you sign up with dollartree.com, they do send emails out every once in a while for a flat shipping rate. Just over a month ago, they did have a flat shipping rate to your house for $5.99. Now they are located in the toy section. Look on the bottom parts of the toy section. They're usually in a box, probably on the bottom shelf, just because they are heavy. If not, try to befriend a manager or one of the staff. And sometimes a lot of the staff is really good at Dollar Tree. And you know what? They could even take your number and maybe you can, they'll call you when they do come into your store. Now I do have this piece covered and we're going to go over it right now. So have your pen and paper ready. So we are going to do a base on this. This is not the base, I'm just covering it up. And we're going to start with the base, and we are going to start with 13 flat, another 13 flat, and we're going to glue this right onto that, another 13 flat, and another 13 flat. So that's 13 flat with 4 rows equals 52 blocks. I'm just going to move this, actually no, I'll just keep it right here. We're going to do the front part of the machine. I'm going to cover this up just, I know you've seen it, just so we don't get confused. So this is the front part, and these are stacked. Remember what I said about being stacked? There's 21, and we're going to have another 2 rows glued right onto each other, and that total is 63. And we're going to put it right there. I'm going to keep moving this back and forth so you can see the other parts. Then we're going to move on to this side. We'll go like this. Now the side is 16 stacked with another row of 16 and another row of 16, which is 48. And you're going to need 2 of those. I'm going to bring this back. I'm going to show you again. But we're not going to do it upwards with it this way. We're going to do it sideways. So all the stacked is looking right up top. You're going to put it right on the corner there. And you're just going to glue it right onto the base, and you're going to center it. But I'm going to show you when we're going to center it in a second. You're going to want to attach it there. I don't know why it's not sealing properly there. Sometimes if you move it around, you can find a better fit. Maybe I'm just going to do this and see if there, that one works better. You're going to make sure that it's even and straight with the corners. And I think I have a little bit of room. And we're just going to glue that on. We're going to attach it here. You're going to attach it on the base and the sides and the base in the front. Now onto the inside right here. We're going to use, I'm not going to move this because I don't want it to fall. You're going to just need 3, just like this, 1 right on top of each other, and another 3. And then we're just going to glue it right like this so it makes the back of the snow machine opening just a little bit smaller. And you're going to do it right on the sides, and you're just going to glue it right. Of course, it's going to give me a hard time. Once I put some glue on it, it'll stick, but you need to have it right on the corner. So it just makes the opening in the back just a little bit smaller. I'm gonna glue that all together right now. Now that I let it dry, I left it it's been about 6 hours. Fully takes 24, it says on the bottle. So just be mindful of what glue you're using and make sure you use wood glue, but make sure that you leave it appropriate time to dry or it could fall apart. Mine's pretty solid. And as you're gonna see, I'm gonna tell you about that in a minute. It's just better to use it. Now I know DT does have wood glue. I've never seen it in my store here in Canada. I'm not sure if anybody else in Canada, any of you out there have seen the DT wood glue, but I do suggest it. Now, the spackling, I buy at Rona/Lowe's. You can buy it at DT. Fellow crafters say that, I guess, American side, you guys do sell the spackling in the store. I've never seen it. This one goes on pink and dries when it's white. I like using it. If you're new to my channel, I use spackling to fill in and even out blocks just so it has a nicer, smoother finished. I did the sides already and I'll show you them in a minute. And you just put it on, it's just like putting on icing, I guess, if you want to say, like icing on a cake, evening it out. And once it's dry, the great thing about it is, even if you have the little lines in there, I'm not gonna do the whole thing on camera. I did the sides already. Now, once it's dry, it does turn white. So I have done it here on the other side already. You can see the little lines, but the best thing is you just take a sanding block. This is in the hardware section at DT, or just a nail file, and you just smooth it. It's still a little bit wet, and I don't know if the DT is pink and turns white, but that's what this one does. It's like the hole filler for your wall. And just both sides and just the front I'm gonna do and let it dry. Now that I have the spackling all dry and buffed, you can see on the sides I have a little bit white. Doesn't have to be perfect, guys. Like totally, if you were gonna just paint it a solid color, I would suggest just filing it so it's nice and smooth. Now, it is more even, and the reason why I did this, because I'm going to use glitter on it, but even with the glitter, if you have like little indentations, you will see it with the glitter on, so I want to make sure that it was smooth enough that you can put the glitter. I am just going to paint it with the silver metallic on the inside and all the way around. So I gave it a quick 2 coats of paint all the way around on inside as well. Now I'm just going to use some glitter, and you can use the glitter. DT came out with these 3 containers of glitter, and they have the silver one. You could use the gold. The stars might be a little bit hard to make sure they get together so you don't see the background. And the reason why we do the silver paint is just to give it a base so that you're not using extra coats of glitter. Now I am just going to use some glitter that I got from Michael's that I had on hand, and I'm just going to use the gloss Mod Podge, and I am just going to do the outside just along the lining in the back and all the way around in the front. While the base is drying with the glitter, I'm just going to flip this over. Now this is the back where I put the Mod Podge on. I am going to I have just this plastic thing full of stickers, like they go in the window. I'm just going to add a couple here. You can add even some, I can't remember what they're called, window clings. I guess these would be called window clings too. You just can put just going to add just a couple of them in there. You're not going to see too many of them when we put a couple of the decor, but just adds a little something to the back of them. Add one right there, and I'll add one more. Let me pick a different design. Once we are done this, I'm gonna add some lights. So I know I told you on the top part, actually I'll add one more. On the top part where we put the fake snow. And I didn't realize afterwards, I was like, I thought about it, I was like, oh, I forgot to put, that's where I was going to put my lights. And go right. Actually, I'm going to pick it off now. I want it over a bit more. And I bent this one now. I wanted to add lights to it. So I'm not going to use fairy lights. You can if you only have fairy lights. You can do that too. I'm going to use just a battery operated one. So this is the top part and this is the bottom. I'm just going to turn this sideways. We can conceal the battery part in the back underneath where the opening is. And I got it all tangled. And I'm just going to put it all around the top of the picture frame. So I'm just going to turn it on. So I'm just going to show you so you'll have enough. So where the first, long as you have, this is how long it is from the battery to the first one. And I'm just going to go right over the snow. I know I put snow there and I shouldn't have. Should have put lights first and then the snow, but that's okay. And I'm just going to add the lights. I'm going to hot glue it down. And I'm just going to keep going around. I'm going to turn this way. I'm going to keep going around underneath the light, starting in one corner, hot gluing it, not on top, just on the inside of the frames, all the way around till you run out. Just make sure the back part of the opening underneath, the back part of the frame, is where you start, where your battery pack is. Now I put the lights in. It did take me probably a good 35, 40 minutes, making sure the lights were super tight on the bottom all the way around. Now I did have to use a lot of hot glue, just dabbing it all the way around. The great thing about this is when it's silver, it blends in. But what I'm gonna do, and then you gotta clean all the little hairs out. I'm just gonna turn them on so you can see. Now, you can still see the wires a little bit, so I am just going to go over a little bit more with the Mod Podge and just put a little bit of more of the fake snow just along the edges here and along here. And I'm just going to turn this sideways where I have the thicker part of the wire, because I wanted to make sure I had enough that it hits the bottom of the base, that it's not hanging from there. And I'm just going to conceal more of the little wires along there with the faux snow. Now that I put the extra snow in, turned out really good. I bought these stickers from DT. They're just come in strips. I want to seal the sides where the front and the back connect together. And I'm just going to put, oops. And I'm just going to put it right down the center of it. I'm just going to center that off camera, but I'm going to do down this side, and then as well on the back. Next thing we're going to do is back to the base. And with the base, as you can see, I didn't put any glitter on the inside. You're not going to see it anyways. It's going to be concealed at the back of it. So I did leave the opening for the fan, and I think it turned really sparkly, blingy on the outside. Now we're going to use this really lightweight foam balls from DT. Now originally I bought this laundry mesh thing, I guess, to hold your laundry delicates in the wash. The only problem with this is there were some balls that were still able, as you can see, that went through, so the little holes were too big. I did find another one at a different dollar store, Dollarama. Now, I'm just going to cut the material to the size right here. So I cut the piece off, and I use Wellbond. You can use Mod Podge because it does dry fast. I just use some Wellbond, and I just cut the piece out, and then we're just going to go along. I'm going to start at the back. we're gonna just keep, I'm just gonna cut right at the end for now. Okay, these are not the best scissors. And we're just gonna go all the way around, but we're gonna keep the longer piece in the back. You're gonna try to get it as short as possible because when you put the top part on, you don't want the little edges sticking out. All right, so I just wanted to show you the back and this side here because we do have to conceal the cord for the light. And I am just gonna cut it right on an angle. Right there. Now, this is the back where the one side, we're just going to pull the wire in like that. And then you're just going to take, oops, I just wanted to make sure it's straight. Now, before you do the hot glue on the back part of the frame, you're going to want to make sure that you put some weld-on all on top of all the surface all the way around, obviously except right here. Once you put that on, you're going to place this on exactly where you want it. Make sure the wire is just through that little cut in the material. And you're just going to stick that in there. And then you are going to hot glue it right underneath the bottom of the picture frame and just cut along the edges. Next thing we want to do, now that we have that all in there, we are just going to get some glue stick or craft sticks that you can get from Dollar Tree. They actually come that you can take the strip off. I wouldn't trust the one side because you're going to need to glue both sides. I did cut a tip off just so you can see that it is just a little, it's just a little bit too long. So I did cut, oh, I'll turn around. I did cut just a little bit of the top off, and then I just used a nail file and filed around the corner just to make it more flat and not so edgy when I cut it off. And then I painted it white because I wanted to mesh in with the snow on the bottom. So I will take the sticky off, but I'm just going to hot glue these sticks. Now it just depends on what decor you want to have inside. So I'm going to place this one just like that. Then the second one, I am going to do it on an angle, and it's on top of the other stick, just like that. Let's see. Now, I'll tell you the positioning of the sticks, why I did like this, and I'm going to show you, because you have to play around with it to figure out what decor. We are going to use a reindeer and a Christmas tree. And then I'm going to put the top one, I think just like that. So how you're going to test it before you glue it, I am just going to use one of these Dollar Tree reindeers. And you want to make sure that it's able, the feet, that it's solid when you glue it down. I think I want to move it over just a little bit like that, because you want to keep some of the opening right on the front part here so the snow blows up. So when you put the fan underneath, that you're going to have the snow more moving right there. Then just one of the smaller DT trees. I think I'm going to glue another. I'm going to see if I have one of those little wood chips. I want it a little bit taller. And then I'm just going to put it on the corner right there. So you do have just more of the opening in the front, but I do suggest making sure you do the placements first of the items that you want to put in there, and not to clog it up. Say you have an extra 5 sticks, because you're not going to have the ventilation from the fan underneath that will blow around the snow. So it's better to have a little area on the one front side that you have the snow going on, and then you also have your decor inside, and say a little tree. And I think that's how I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to put nothing else in there. So that was the placement that I got, as you can see there, because the deer has both feet and the two front, even if it's just off a little bit, so the deer is facing forward, which is perfect. Now I did add, DT has the little wood slices here, and I'm just going to give it, and it's not even, but I am just going to add a coat of white paint so it does blend in with the snow. While I let the tree dry while it's in there, we are going to move on to where the top part hits the base, just because there is this thin line there, and I didn't want to put no more of these studs, the silver studs, along the seam that we did for the picture frame. So you can get the little garland from DT, you can keep the balls, you're just going to take them off. They're easy enough to I think it's like almost like a little tie on it, and it just comes right off. Then I'm just going to hot glue just along the edges between the picture frame and the base, all the way around. Now we're going to have to seal the top, but before we seal the top, we are going to put some of the beads. They come in different colors, white, DT, they're very light and airy. I don't know what it would look like with so I'm just going to fill it up. Now I think there's 3.5 packs in here because I used some last year. You're just going to make sure that they want to get all over. Just to cover the base. Once we do that, we're going to do the same the same covering as we did on the bottom, because in order for the air to come out from the fan up, you can't seal it totally off because the air will have nowhere to go, so it won't move. So I'm going to use the other half of the bag. I guess I could have used it for another couple, and I'm just going to lay it over and do the exact same thing and just cover it here nice and tight and glue it on. So it was a lot harder than the bottom part, only because there was no glitter, and when you held down the corners it kept sliding. So what I did was just every 1.5 inches do just a small dab of hot glue all the way around, and making sure it was tight as I went along the side. Now I will just trim. There's a couple little more pieces I need to trim off, and then I'll just brush a coat of Mod Podge just to keep it sealed. All right, so for the top part where I glued it with the Mod Podge and the netting, I'm just going to do the same thing I did between the base and the picture frames, and I am just going to use some of this tinsel so it will just cover up the messiness that's along the top of the picture frames. So I'm going to keep adding to this. Along the edges, just where this is right in front, I'm not going to tip this over because I'm going to end up, let me see, actually I probably can tip it over a little bit. Right along the edge of the frame where the top garland hits the picture frame, I want to put something a little bit more than just having that up there. So I have this long garland, and it is from Dollarama. You can put different ones. This one I always like. I buy it every year because I just really love it. And I am just going to put it right in front. I'm just going to hot glue it. It just gives it a little bit of something extra around the frame, going all the way around the top. Right, so we're almost done. Alongside this one, I actually created another one, and I will show you at the end when I show you the final result for this one. I did a different color, and I did Santa, and I changed it up a bit. It's the exact same build as this one, just different color, different, there's just a little bit different stuff, and I'll explain that after at the end of the video. So I'm just going to add a couple more things. DT had these metal cutouts. The piece didn't fit. I had Joy, so I just took some gloss Mod Podge and some white glitter, and it's just something simple on the very front of the silver part, the base of the snow machine. And I'm just going to add one of the decorative bells right in the top corner of the top of the frames. Now, when I was out today, because I was looking for a couple more things, and I ran into this one. So when I showed you the laundry basket, I did get that one, the laundry for the mesh for the top and underneath the base of the picture frames. I did get it from Dollarama, but when I was in there today, they had a jumbo mesh bag. It's like a laundry bag, I guess, or storage bag. And I thought that would be perfect. And it's exactly like the one I used. And the holes are not wide enough for the little snowballs to fall through, the foam balls. And I think this would work really well. Plus you got lots of it, so you could use it for many different crafts. It's huge. So keep your eye out for that if you're gonna do this build. It's a really big bag. I could use the other stuff for it. We are gonna add the fan. Now, the fan is in the kids section. And I would suggest using like good batteries. Don't use the no name. Use some good batteries in it. Just, I always find using better batteries just because you need the ventilation and the power of the fan. Now we're gonna add 10 blocks to this build. So we were at just for the machine itself was 217, and we're gonna add 5 blocks each for 10 just underneath. I just hot glued it on. I didn't well bond it or anything. It's just for the height underneath. Now, when I was making it, you could go down one layer. The only problem is it's sticky. It's hitting just microscopic to the top underneath the mesh. And I wanted something higher on the base. Anyways, it's just going to be a really tight fit. So that's why I went up. I'm going to do this one on 5 blocks, and I do have 4 for the other one I'm going to show you after. Just because when I was holding, for some reason on the other one, it just seemed it was blowing a lot more in that snow machine, and it looked pretty cool. So these are in the toys section, in the kids section. I don't know why they have fans. I mean, they don't really come off. I don't know. I'm not sure. There's just a little screw that you do have to take out before you put your batteries in. So I'm just going to get these glued on. And before I do that, I do want to mention, just because when I was going to make the second one, that you got to make sure, even though it's a 4x6 frame, you got to make sure that the measurement for this build, because if you get all the 4-inch frames are all different sizes, because some are thicker on the side and taller. So the longest part of the frame is 8 inches. I know I said it at the beginning of the video, and I'm going to say it again because someone's going to come back and I know someone's going to say it didn't fit. 8 inches tall by 6.25 wide at the bottom and the top. You can alter it if you can't find that exact measurement. You can make the build skinnier just a little bit. Just make sure you have the opening in the back wide enough to fit the fan in, as well as that it fits proper on the length of your blocks. Otherwise, your base might be a little bit wider or smaller depending on the frame. So the 8 inches tall for the frame, 6.5 wide. I'm going to glue those on. I'm going to turn around. I'm going to show you both of the builds with the snow flying. All right, guys, so here it is. I have it lit up. I don't have my overhead light where you normally see under my hands. I think it turned out really well. I just like, reindeers are my favorite. And I think it just turned out super pretty. I'm just gonna show you on the inside. And I'm gonna turn on the fan behind it in a second. I'm just gonna switch it. Sorry guys, I don't have you guys on it. Prop. Now this is the one that has the five blocks under it. I'm just gonna have to turn it around, and I'll show you if I can. Trying to figure out. I was trying to show you that I wanted to. So that's what it looks like, guys. Now, I'd be careful about putting too much of the blocks in, or too much of the snow in, because I don't think it'll blow, because I did try to play with it a few times and it wasn't giving as much volume as it is right now. But I just think it's super pretty. I'm just gonna switch over and show you the next one. All right, guys, here's the Santa one. I think he's super cute. And no, I didn't get Santa from Dollar Tree. I actually just got him from Dollarama. He was under $5 because Dollarama only goes to $5. You might be able to find something like him maybe at Hobby Lobby or Dollar General or another store that we don't have here in Canada. I just think it turned out really well just because he does have skis. They're kind of a little bit buried into the snow, and I just thought it was very fitting with that. I did use just the Christmas garland ties up top and with the same little garland that I used over here, but I picked red and took the balls off like I did that one. And then I just wrapped it around the garland and glued it on top. And the top part here is actually just shelf liner from the kitchen section from DT. They didn't have white. That's why I went with the mesh laundry bag that I used on the top of the other one. Now, just be careful that when you are doing it, that you just know how much balls that in there and trying to play around, because even if you don't have the top glued on, you still can operate it. I just put it on top and played around with it to adjust the heights. Also, the fan can be angled to a certain section, say more angled towards this corner so the snow is flying here, that you get more volume here that you would if you were angling it to the side or the back. And the little bottom of the joy sign is just a hanging thing from decoration for the tree from Dollar Tree. I just added some more little greens on the ends to cover the holes where I took the rope off and just adjusted the one pine cone and cut the back of the green so I could have it flush against the back of there. I'm just gonna put you guys on hold for 1 second and I'm gonna turn both of them back on. All right, guys, so I got it going. I just think it looks super cute. And the same one. I could have probably put a little bit of more snow, I think, in there. I think if I take the hot dryer just in the corner, I can add a little bit more balls in there. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Please give me a thumbs up. Let me know where you guys all live. I like to see how far my channel has reached. And thank you all so much for all the compliments you guys do leave. I really appreciate it. You guys are all amazing crafters. We'll see you soon. Happy crafting. Bye.